Greetings and good evening, everyone. This is Hell's Unicorn once again, back from a very long hiatus. I apologize for that. I've got a number of things going on outside of my YouTube channel, which has been taking up all of my time. At some point in the future, I'll probably share what that is, but as of right now, the only thing I'm really concerned about is the presidential election tomorrow. I had decided not to officially endorse any of the candidates, nor to really have much participation in what was going on after the primary because of the sham that it was. I still stand by my vote for Rand Paul in the primary. However, I'm going to do something come tomorrow, which I have elected not to do in any previous presidential election since I've been old enough to vote, which was in the late 90s, and that is support the GOP nominee for president. And I'm going to try to make my reasons for this known in as short of a time duration as possible, because I don't think this really requires too in-depth of an explanation. Unless you've been living in a bubble, I think you've noticed all of the stuff that's come out on Hillary Clinton. The woman is a pathological liar. Anybody who doesn't realize this is a person who has basically been completely divorced from reality, and unsurprisingly, that includes the vast majority of YouTube atheists who I've been getting into a lot of verbal altercations with in the comments sections on various videos. There are a few hopeful exceptions to this rule, people like Sargon of Akkad and Think Forever, or Think Computer. I keep forgetting the guy's name, that guy up in Ireland. Love that guy, even though don't agree with him on the whole religion issue. But anyway, you got a couple of reasonably intelligent people, and you have some people that would be intelligent if they would just close the deal on their reasoning, like the Amazing Atheist. This guy drives me crazy for no reason. It shouldn't surprise me, since this is the same moron who 8 years ago basically blew a gasket because he found out that Ron Paul was a Christian, and basically abandoned the libertarian movement completely just because of that. Dumbest fucking person I think I've ever heard of, but yet at the same time he is capable of moments of insight, and I've seen some of those recently on his channel regarding Hillary Clinton. He was more of a Bernie Sanders guy, which kind of goes along with his craziness, but oh, what the hell. Anyway, on top of what is already known about Hillary Clinton, people are probably going to ask, are you going to vote for Gary Johnson like you did back in 2012? The answer to that is no. My reasoning for that is simple. When he ran in 2012, he was a different person. If he held the same views on these various issues that he's been vocal about this time around, he didn't show it because I didn't notice it. But the whole thing about, buying into the whole global warming myth, the whole, line of crap about, the whole TPP thing, his constant, PC rhetoric, which makes him sound like basically Hillary Clinton's long-lost twin brother. I can't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't vote for Bob Barr either. I went Chuck Baldwin in that election, and it was too obvious what was going on there. And I think with this time around, it's become pretty clear that the Libertarian Party has simply become a refuge for bitter clingers from the GOP who are basically neocons or neocon light, and that can be summed up beautifully by the idiot that is Gary Johnson's running mate, Weld. Anybody that calls themselves a libertarian and votes for Gary Johnson knowing that that guy is a heartbeat away from the office, I think alone, has some serious cognitive dissonance going on. Now, but what about somebody like Castle in the Constitution Party? My response to that is pure and simple. Castle who? The guy barely made it onto the ballot in Pennsylvania to begin with. I don't hear much about the guy anywhere. The guy is probably not going to break a half a percentage point in this state, let alone any of the other ones. So, I'm not doing that again. I have somebody in Donald Trump who is nominally decent, although bad on a lot of stuff. I don't fully buy into the protectionism stuff that he's into, but as far as the war and peace issues, civil liberties, Second Amendment, Supreme Court nominations, all that stuff, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you disagree with Donald Trump on just a couple of things, and you're in agreement with him on at least 75% of what he says, which admittedly is woefully inconsistent at times, but I think he's gotten pretty consistent lately, and you either stay home or vote somebody else, you're basically voting for Clinton. And I do not want to deal with the Clinton presidency. 8 years of Obama has gotten me two things. I'm going to lay this out for you right now. It's gotten me higher taxes, far more difficult to run my business now than it was before he assumed office, and I was no fan of George W. Bush. All of my early videos were trashing him. And second, I found out this January I am officially losing my health insurance. My premiums have gone up by about 250% since Obama was elected, most of it after Obamacare was passed. And now, lo and behold, Aetna is leaving Pennsylvania, and because of current laws, I cannot buy a health insurance plan across state lines. So that pretty much does it for me. Even if everything else was off base, even if Donald Trump was a gun grabber, baby killer, sodomite lover, all this other crap, if he was only saying I'm going to get rid of Obamacare, that would be enough to seal the deal for me. I do not like the idea of having to pay a penalty on my taxes just because this fucking idiot running the country right now, Obama, screwed up the healthcare system, all right? So that's where I stand on it. You guys feel free to disagree with me if you like. At this point, it just doesn't really matter to me. I know who I'm voting for tomorrow. You can call me inconsistent or hypocritical if you like. I don't really care. I'm kind of done with this whole thing, at least for this election cycle. I'm anxious to see it over with, and then we can move on to some other stuff like dealing with what's actually going on in the country. So till next time, with prudence to myself and benevolence to all of you, good evening.